identify where we currently are. And then let's talk about the goals coming back to our future. So this image, this illustration, he says 1, 2, 3, 4. If you notice, 1 is all the way to the right, is right because I'm thinking about, you know, the vision, my future self, whatever that future vision that you may have. And then you could come back if we're thinking in terms, and especially for this presentation, I want you to think in 3-month increment, 1 quarter, right? That's as far as we want you to go, even though the illustration is set up, the diagram is set up for 6 months, that we come back and think about hurdles for 3 months and how we're going to respond to them. And then when we get to our current self, we'll say, well, where am I right now? What are some of the realities that where I am currently? And then we're going to go from the present to the future, thinking about what are the goals and actions. And so before, the way we start this out, right, the very first thing we want to think about is how do we be clear, right, for ourselves and be kind to ourselves, right? So one of the practices that I like to use is the well-formed outcomes that comes from neurolinguistics programming. And it has about, 9 different steps that we want to consider as we're going through. So you're not just going to do it once. So when you're doing your vision, you want to use the same practice to press against. You want to press against to find out, how can we state the outcomes that we're pursuing from our hurdles, our vision, our current self, and our goals in positive terms. We want to make sure that things are within our control, right? That we have some empowerment that's taken place. We want to leverage positive framing to be as specific as possible as to where we want to get to. We look at things like sensory-based evidence, right? So how will we know we've reached our goal? So if I want to have a super successful business in 2024, what does that really look like? How do I really specify that? And how will I know that I'm about to achieve those goals? And so that means I need to set up some level of measurement, right? Or metrics that we may want to use, or KPIs. One of the other things is like, let's consider the context. If I want to make 100 million in 2024, and I'm just putting that out there, right? Is that even a reality for me, right? Given where I am. So it's consider the context of where I am and what I'm trying to achieve. And then it also goes forward and says, let's talk about the resources that I have to get there. And then if there are things that I already have in place, right? So if I'm pursuing a new opportunities and I have something that's working currently with a client, do I want to preserve those existing benefits that I have with the client and not just throw it away? Or maybe I may need to do that, right, to achieve our goals. So this is the mindset that we want to think through as we're going through each one of these different aspects. We're thinking about our vision, thinking about hurdles, where we are currently, our current reality, and the goals that we want to pursue. And then finally, we always need to define the first step, because sometimes that is one of the hardest things to do to get started. So we're going to pivot over and look at another tool that we're going to use, which is the SMART goal. So I'm going to hand this over to Temi. Temi, this is, oops.
Yeah. Well, thank you. So when we're talking about the vision, you want to write it out in a way where you can actually measure it. Okay, so we're saying that by the end of month 3, what that month 3 will be for you. So by September, I'll assume by September, I want to have realized £100,000 or dollars for my side business. So here I have a time, it's specific. I've talked about how much is measurable in my business, okay? And then you can go on to look into, is how achievable is it? What do I need to do to be able to attain that £100,000 by September? So when you're forming your vision, those are the kind of things, elements you need to put into that statement. So we're going to actually go into the MIRO bots to do that right now. So whilst Dr. Dave is going back to, you're going to MIRO and sharing it, I want to challenge you, because most times when people write down the vision, so vision is your future self in the next 3 months, they dream very big or they dream very little. Okay, so that's too big, too little, stretch or not stretch. So if it's very stretch, you sometimes stretch yourself and you can't attain it, and then you demotivate yourself. It's too little, you're not challenged. So you want to be able to get into the middle of not too out of my world that I cannot achieve, and not too little that it's not challenging or motivating. So when we're writing the vision down and somebody asks the question, is it relating to Agile or work? It doesn't matter. Pick whatever area you want to pick. It could be your relationship. It could be spiritually. It could be business. It could be work. It could be finance. Anything at all. So we'll take some time into the Miro board and think through next 3 months in a particular area. What change? Where do you want to be? That's your future self. Where do you see yourself in 3 months from now? So we'll put a time there. We put the
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead
change.
and get us into Miro. And so we're going to spend like about 10 minutes, like 3 minutes or so. Let's say there's 17 people. Maybe we'll spend, 7 minutes on you crafting a vision within Miro. And then we'll spend 3 minutes just playing back, what you came up with, right? And so let me go ahead and bring up the Miro board. Is everyone in the Miro board? I see it's like +5. Okay. So I'm going to go down to where I want you to be here. And so what you can do is just click on my wonderful head here, and that should bring you to where I am. Okay. And so I am going to enter full screen. All right. And I'll just push in a little bit. Everyone should be able to see. The good fun stuff about this is that all of the instructions that I spoke about is up here. You could always just scroll up and see all of the instructions about, if you don't know how to write a SMART objective, you can just come up to the Miro board at the very top and see an illustration of what that looks like when you start thinking about your vision. It also has additional examples that I put out here, just like, hey, you want to be a vanguard of educational reform or exploring the world, or it could be your agile team that wants to do something magnificent, whatever that is. This is a great simulation for us to start. So I'm going to go ahead and set a timer. If you, and Temi was kind enough to leave some examples as well in here, like kind of little breadcrumbs for us to go forward with. So does anyone have any questions before we jump into the activity? Can everyone access Miro?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to bring up our little timer, and I'm going to put 7 minutes on it. And you're going to go and have some fun. If you need more stickies, just click on it like here and just right mouse click and say duplicate. And then you can make more stickies, right? That's one way to do it. Or you can just click over here on the left and add a sticky note. So I'm going to go ahead and start a timer now for 7 minutes and have fun. And maybe you may want to put your initials on there, just so you know which sticky is yours.
You need to put some time to your So your vision statement. And one thing that makes the vision statement stick is if it's aligned to your values. It has to be aligned to what you believe in, what motivates you. Hmm. Hmm.
Just, feel free to go back up and see, examples of what SMART goals look like, infection in this. It's just, this is all about fun, and us learning.
So the vision, I like the ones I see. Well done. You're right. We write it in the affirmative. So by September 2024, I would have $100,000 in my revenue. So that's affirmative.
Yeah.
Okay, so we write in the affirmative because that's really what propels you forward to that future. So you might want to go back and tweak, maybe not right now, but you might want to go back and tweak it to be in the affirmative, like you're stating it as a fact. Mhm. Yeah, JT, I like that. You might want to might want to write it out on your paper privately. You want to say how much you want to earn. Okay, I see you write, find a good paying and rewarding job. Okay, how much you want to earn. You don't have to put it right now, but how much you want to earn, what kind of role you want to have.
Can someone make my little sticky smaller? I'm on my iPad. I don't know how to do it on my iPad. The one that got really big. Thank you.
Mm. All right, Dr. Dave, we can't hear you if you're talking to us. Oh, I can hear you. No. I can't hear you. Maybe it's just me.
Can't hear you either.
Okay.
If it's of any consolation, I can't hear Dr. Dave either.
Yeah, it's gonna fix this stuff. Okay. Unmute yourself. You are now unmute yourself, Dr. Dave.
Okay.
Yep,
Sorry.
yep.
You know, when we have these fancy microphones, like, yeah, jazz hands, when we have these fancy microphones that, you know, that you could touch different parts of it, it unmutes itself. And, you know, let me stop playing with it. Anyway, we're going to spend 3 minutes and hopefully you could just go and share, you know, what you've described as your vision. So I'm going to go ahead and fire up our timer for 3 minutes. And anyone feel free to come off mute and share your sticky. So ready, steady, go.
I'll share one. Mine is, I just started taking classes at a local college in fine woodworking, and I'm learning how to do woodworking. I'm the KMS. So I've torn apart my kitchen and my pantry. So I have the goal of by June, the end of June this year, to finish that build by completing the new pantry, 6 cabinets, trim, countertops, and the nook bench.
Nice. Nice.
That's good.
Just feel free to just jump on in. We're not going to call anyone. So just, you know, democratize yourself and go.
I can go next. So this is Shruti here. So my goal for by the end of the year is to hone the skills required to transition to a people leader within my organization. So I'm doing a couple of things to get there. Certainly training, going through a few leadership training through some of the guilds that we have within our organization. I continue to basically work with other Agilists within my organization as a mentor. So I'm learning that way, though I'm mentoring. There's a lot of learning along the way. So yeah, just a couple of courses, and certainly both being a mentor as well as working with other leaders who are my mentors to help me help me achieve my goals, essentially.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Shruti.
Okay, I have 2. One is by the end of this quarter, or by the end of the first, by the end of June this year, by MJT, by the way, is to know enough about generative AI so that I can use it professionally. I know that it's a very powerful tool, and I know that there's a lot that can be done with it, but I want to be able to learn how to use it in a professional manner. And the second one down here, well, yes, I'm looking for a job. Yes, and my wife, she wants me out of the house doing something useful for a change.
I love it.
I don't know why you're laughing. It's a sad word for her, not for me.
Okay. I thought you said she wanted you out of the house doing something useful for a change. Okay, so we have about 9 seconds left. If one person wants to go, then otherwise we'll jump back into the presentation. Okay. All right, so back into our presentation mode. Let me just. I swear, this sometimes, you know, thing it just wants to fight with you. All right, bear with me here as I'm playing with my tools. One of the things that I'm going to, let me go back and share, is really start to talk about cadence. right? There's a few other slides we're going to do before we jump in. And we want to start to think about, how do we really get prepared for this? To go through in terms of drafting our vision, thinking about our goals. And so as an individual, and I know there's lots of words on here, so we could spend, 1 to 2 weeks if we want to reflect, to start to think about, how do we want to think about our visioning? It could be 1 to 2 days. But I'm just saying that you have enough time to start thinking about the initial reflection, about thinking about your vision, thinking about your goals. And then you could start thinking about then going ahead and start drafting your vision, right? So you could spend more time and have more breadth in terms of doing this work. But it could be shorter, right? I mean, we spent 7 minutes and you were able to come up with a vision. But if it was something really important, and you could spend this amount of time thinking about, how do we get here? The same thing with setting the goals, and also thinking about how we're going to review and refine the vision statements, some of the hurdles that we put out there, right? And so this is really important. This is like doing a retrospective, right? The review and refinement, that we're identifying, things that we want to get better at, things that are really hurdles that we really need to adjust, and communicate new thinking. So sorry about that. So from an individual, this is just one context, and it's a guide as a cadence. But if we were working as a team, right, we could start to also have a cadence for how we want to go about, doing this work as well. Right. So we could get together as a team, and whether we're doing that through a retro, or we're having a meeting that we have to spin up to talk about, goals that we have for our sprints, we could also use this model as a way to go through that. So if you notice, this has a long breadth of time, 1 to 3 weeks, it's really up to the team and the individuals to think about how we want to have conversations to come up with our vision. And then we get into how we want to consolidate and collect, that vision, so we could start having a draft. And then we set some action plans. And then we still also would spend some time, reviewing and making adjustments to our vision, to our hurdles, to our goals, as we're starting to go through that process. I just wanted to bring that out so that we could have an idea that we should do some level of planning, right? Some level of planning, depending on however long you want to apply the time box for that. We should be able to do that, that level of work, which would help us to get to that space, right, of having something that's concrete and something that we could work through. And we'll iterate through this. And this is the reason why, if you notice, one of the bullet points is for us to review and adjust, right? That's the whole inspect and adapt aspect of things that we're doing. So this is just a guide. You could always adjust, what that really looks like. So while we're going through this process, there's another major activity that we want to do. And Temi, we're going to talk about, going deeper, right? And let's talk about that.
Yes. So so as we go through the journey, you would see that we've talked about my future self, where I want to be in the next n months or n years. We'll talk about the hurdles, what's going to block me, or what's going to be in the way. It might be myself, what's going to be in the way of achieving it, and where am I right now? So as we walk through each of these things, we're asking ourselves, what did I find out? What did I discover by myself? And I would ask you, as you wrote the vision, what did you discover? Did you discover anything new about yourself? Writing it down, looking at it coming back into your face, into your eyes. Did you notice anything? As you wrote down the vision, did you see anything different that you had not noticed before about yourself? Mentally, were you limiting yourself? Did you think you were limiting yourself? Did you believe in what you wrote? So it's all about asking yourself those questions as you refine your vision statement, and even as you go through each of the steps, asking yourself, are you satisfied about this vision? Could you do more? Could you do less than that? Have you should change yourself in any way? Have you capped yourself in any way? It's just asking that question, because it's not just about writing it down, but checking within yourself. Everything starts with the mindset. So you're checking through and asking yourself, what have I discovered? What is new? What did I notice? And why am I feeling this way? So that's important as we go through each of the steps as we go on. Do you have any questions on that?
Or even did any other questions come up for you as you're thinking about, going deeper? If there anything that comes up, we would love to hear what you came up with. Otherwise, if there's no other questions, so if you, as we're going through this journey, what we're trying to get you to do is to really not only make this work visible, right? And that's like one of the principles that we play around with Kanban and in the Agile spaces. How do we make work visible? Well, this is work. This is stuff that you want to get done. So that's why we provided, this visible, it's a form of a collaboration board, which could also be a form of a radiator for you to start to reflect on over time, right? As you're going through this journey. So the next major activity we're going to do is that we're going to go back into the MIRO board, right? And we're going to, let me just move forward. The way we're going to approach this is that we have a vision, right? And so now we're going to go after our hurdles. You have set up a vision, and we'll get you down to that area in the MIRO board. And I want you to just do 3 months, right? Based on your vision, I want you to do 3 months and think about the hurdles that you may, run into in month 3 and how you're going to respond to that. You get to month 2, right? So if we're like almost in March, so month 3 would be, May, right? If you want to think of it that way, what are the hurdles if that was where I was pointing my vision, what's going to happen in May? Hurdles that I need to do, April, and then March, right? So just to make it really concrete. So if we go back into MIRO, and you just need to just scroll down, and our next section is where we have our hurdles, right? So instead of starting in month 6, just slide over to month 3, right? Mm-hmm. And then we'll work forward and just assume month 3 is May, right? And so we could think about what are our hurdles and how we're going to respond to them. Any questions about what we're asking you to do? Okay, perfect. So we're going to do, probably another 7 minutes of you just writing out hurdles and how you're going to respond to those hurdles. And so get in there and play. Just scroll down. If you need to find where you need to, just click on my head, and that would take you to where I am currently on the MIRO board. So time is running. Feel free to start thinking about the hurdles that's going to impact your vision. I think you could overwrite some of those, some of that stuff. I think TBJ is yours, right, Temi?
Yeah, I'm going to get rid of it.
Yeah. Or we could just add more stickies, either which way. Ooh. Did I not lock that down? I mean, oh, I thought that was locked. It is. Okay. Yeah, it is locked. All right. And try to be as specific as possible, you know, which is one of the things when we start thinking about these well-formed outcome. You know, so it's really important as you go through this so that you could also maybe even think of how do you measure if you have achieved, you know, solving for that hurdle, you know, with your response. And then Temi, you would probably do the goals and action section next, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the orders will be what is in the way of, so you're starting from on 3 and saying what is in the way of achieving the vision that I had. And then
We're not there yet. I'm just talking out loud.
yeah, but I'm just trying to reiterate here because I see responses being filled now, but there's nothing on month 2 yet.
Oh, they haven't gotten to month 2.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay, right? It's you know, the point is for them to just have the experience of doing it, right? So even if you just got month 3 done, then, you know, I'm gonna say I'm gonna high five you. So we have about a minute, you know, on the timer, and then hopefully we'll give another few minutes for people to share back what they experienced. All right, so let's just put a few minutes on here just for whoever wants to express what they came up with in even in month 3. Who wants to go first?
I hate silence. So JT, again, when we're talking about AI, there are multiple types of AI, each of them with a different objective or purpose or utilization. In my area of work, which is the appropriate one to use and which one can I get the most benefit out of? That I don't know, and that's something that I need to know.
Thank you, JT. Did you guys find doing this part of the exercise a bit more difficult than just framing your vision, trying to think of the things that's going to trip you up?
Yeah, I think for me, I think it was most part, it's just like thinking about the near future, like things that can be blockers is definitely a challenge, but it's good that we're thinking about it. So I think this is a great exercise.
Thanks.
Sorry if I missed it earlier too, but it looks like, is it kind of working backwards, like month 6 to 1? Because I'm kind of doing it on my own on I'm more of a piece of paper type of person. So we work backwards that way, or should we
Yeah.
be moving? Yeah,
Yeah, we go to the future and then we work on our hurdles and actions,
gotcha.
from the future to the present.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, if there's nothing more, I'm going to bring back our presentation, and then Temi, you could express how we're going to go forward with current self and desired goals and actions. Just go ahead.
So great, thanks, Dr. Dave. So we've written our visions down. We've walked through the potential blockers or showstoppers or impediments that we might have. We have an idea of the kind of responses or how we should respond to them. All good, all perfect. Now let's have a reality check. Where am I? The question is, where am I? Where are you currently? Where are you right now in relation to that to be self, to your future self? So whether you're looking for a job, for fixing the house, getting a job as a PM, I didn't realize I was on the timer. Getting a job as a PM, where are you right now? It's important to understand that, because you would then have to write down your desired goals and actions to bridge that gap. Okay, so there is a gap in between where you are right now and your future self. And then we'll look at the goals for each of the month to close the gap. But first thing right now is, where are you in relation to your future self? So we could do that that shouldn't take too long.
Yeah.
Do you want to put a timer there?
Yeah, we'll go back into MIRO. So if you notice, we're bouncing back and forth, in a wonderful world of MIRO. So you're probably going to go into 2 sections. So we're going to treat this as one for 7 minutes. So you're going to go into, where are you currently as you're thinking about your vision? So if it's to learn AI, then where am I currently? Maybe I don't know AI and I have to figure that out. Or if it's to maybe I'll shorten that time for 5 minutes. If it's something else, no, we're going to keep it at 7 because you need to go forward. And so you're going to just define who your current self is and then slide down. And then we'll only do the first, we could do months 1, 2, 3. Let's just do that, right? And then you're going to think about your goals and action. So I'm going to go ahead and set 7 minutes. So you have 2 blocks to work through. And I'm just trying to be mindful of our time. So at least you have the experience of what this looks like. So I'm going to start the timer now. just remember to leave some time to go down and also start thinking about your goals and actions. So just wanted to remind everyone.
Yeah, I was just going to say, so let's move down to the goals and actions, and I'll just go through that again quickly using AI. Is that JT as an example? So JT, I'm going to ask you, what do you have to do month one? What's your goal for month one to move you closer to your, that this goal now is your actionable work, actionable task. What do you need to do in month one to move you closer to your vision? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Awesome. So SS, I see you've completed your goals and up until month 3. And that means that by month 3, you should have reached you should have your vision fully realized. Is that what you think?
No, I think this is going to be a continued effort. I think the leadership course, yes, that's more of just like training, right? But then honing the skills, working on the networking, ensuring that there is certainly a business case for my transition. All of those aspects will continue to be a part of the journey.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think it's just more of, these are specific like tasks that can be completed, but they're ongoing, conversations and, focus time that I want to dedicate, if you will, on this journey throughout the year. So I would basically copy paste some of this every month, like especially like things like strategic thinking, honing communication skills. I think those come with just, those mentorship sessions, having some of the situational leadership conversations, things along those lines.
Yes.
So this is not where it ends, for sure.
It's a good start. Yeah. Well done. Okay.
So we have about, less than 10 seconds, and then I'll put probably another 3 minutes for others to share as well. Okay. So this is just an open time. And if we don't have anything to share, then we'll move forward. But here's an opportunity for others to share as well. Thanks, Shruti.
You either want to share or you want to talk about what you discovered. That's the inquiry, your kind of mini debrief. What did you find out? What did you realize? What came to fore?
I mean, I think for me, it's spending more time using this canvas, not just in the session, but kind of keeping this as an ongoing thing and ensuring that it's always updated. Maybe adding that to one of my goals, like ensure that, I spend at least like an hour a month to make sure that my vision is crisp and refined. And if it changes, what else am I adding? But just, I think, spending more time on this canvas, I guess, for me, that's the biggest takeaway. And this is a great format. It's got me thinking so much more about how I can achieve my goals.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else?
I like that it's making us dig deeper and kind of make myself accountable. Okay, I need to like check into this a little bit further. Oh, I forgot that. So I'm looking forward definitely to going back to this. I'm doing it on a scratch piece of paper. The board's not working for me so well, so I'm doing it on a piece of paper, but
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that I gave you the link so that you could download it and print it out and, play with it. Yeah. Okay. If there's nothing else, so as part of the journey, so we'll move on to more presentation, probably the last piece of the presentation. We ask you to debrief as you're going through this journey, right? And so you could do it at the very end, but I would recommend to do it as frequently as you need to. And so spending this time reflecting, relating, and just remembering. So you may want to ask yourself, what did you discover as you're going through this journey? Because it's not just about writing stuff down and planning stuff. If you looked at some of the questions of going deeper, there will be things that you'll discover about yourself as a human being and as an individual going through this journey, trying to get to an objective. And you may think about, I selected these hurdles, which is really hard. It's because we don't really think about failure. We're such positive individuals. So we may think about always we're going to be successful, but to think about the failures that come along and then how am I going to respond to those in advance, it's a difficult task for most people to do. And so sometimes we just avoid them, right? So it was what were these hurdles that I selected important to me? And then also is like, how will you move forward with goals beyond the vision, in the vision that you came up with, right? Is there more that you can do for the future? And so what we're going to do as part of an additional exercise is that we're going to go back to our Kanban board, right? So as we came through, we said, hey, we have this great vision, and the way we frame our vision is that we're going to use well-formed outcomes, we're going to use SMART goals, we're going to go a little deeper with inquiry to as we're going through our journey, but also we're going to identify hurdles and responses. We did goals and actions. Now we're going to debrief. We could do this as a team. Can you imagine working with a team and working through a board like this over time as you're developing cohesion, collaboration, right? The ability to improve communication, to use this as a visual if you're in person, or even if you're not in person, you could do it visually. So we're going to go back into our MIRO board, and even in where we have all the instructions, I just wanted to, I did a presentation at some time in the past about debriefing, and I did a whole debrief cubed and a bunch of questions. So from the MIRO board, you should be able to download, the set of questions. This is just FYI. Okay. So let's go back over here, and you would see we already started to do this, asking these questions, right? So what did you discover? Why were these selected hurdles important to you? And then also, how would you move forward with goals beyond the vision? So I'm going to just keep in track of time, and I'll just do 5 minutes. And let's just go ahead and jump on in and just put down, based on your what did you discover? As you've been going through this journey, the things that you're thinking about. I know you guys already stated some of those, but writing them out sometimes helps to imprint them on your brain. Okay. So in a very short amount of time, and Temi, you could also chime in, and even as participants, you've been able to craft a vision, think about the hurdles that's going to impact you and how you're going to respond to them. Maybe has a few actions and a few goals and actions. And then, you've been able to debrief. It's almost like a small little retro for your experience. What else would you like to add based on what you've experienced or discovered so far? And Temi, feel free to jump in.
For me, it's always accountability. And I think Wendy said that before. It's the accountability and clarity, because many times you have thoughts muddled up in your brain and you think you got it all. But once you start writing things down, once I start writing things down on paper, I realize it needs a bit of tweaking. So it's that clarity and that accountability. But I also do like the going deeper through inquiry, because you're asking yourself, why does this matter to me? And that's what I said earlier, until it ties back to your value. Because once you have misplaced values, you have a vision that would not last, so you don't go for it. So it's the question, why does this matter to me? Why do I need to get a job? Why do I need that amount of money? What is in it for me? Why am I chasing that particular goal? Why am I going for leadership courses? The why is actually what motivates you to do what you want to do. So it's the questioning, but that makes it really stronger, makes it stick. So when it's sticky vision, a sticky goal, a sticky action, you tie it back to your values. And that happens with putting things down on paper.
Thank you, Temi. I'm just being mindful of our time. So if there's anything else, feel free to come off mute and share. And otherwise, I know we only have about 5 more minutes, right, Wendy? Just keeping track of time.
Yep, we're doing pretty well. I was going to give you a 5-minute warning also, but
okay. So I'm gonna do some shameless, or and I call it shameless, some shameless announcements. So I've written lots of different books about different topics. I've written about 9 of them so far. If you can see on my background, we're talking about generative leadership to thrive. That's one of the topics that's top of mind for me in terms of how do we lead differently? How do we co-create space for people to thrive? And so there was that whole concept that's out there in that book. And most of these books are available, well, all of them are available on Amazon. And also there's this wonderful fictitious thing that's happening with Ashanti Mwendo. That's a whole series about a woman actually leading, an AI VR type company, especially a woman of color, in that space. So I just wanted to just share some of the stuff that I have available out there for you to read. And you could either read them or listen to them via Audible. You'll get tired of my voice at some point in time, but I just wanted to share that with you, and hopefully you got something of value out of this experience, and we could connect and stay connected via LinkedIn and wherever else. What about you, Temi?
Yeah, thank you very much. I was just going to share, but I can't see right now. I could put a link here later on, but I'm just opening up a cohort for my products management immersion. Yeah, 9 weeks training. It's fully practical, very hands-on. So if you're lazy, don't come on it. But if you're serious-minded and you want to get out, at the end of the 9 weeks, you will have an MVP that you can actually run with. If you're looking for a job, you can produce a portfolio and share with your interviewers. So that's starting on Monday, March 4. 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going to find the link and send it here. But yeah, it's 20 sets, very small. So it's intimate, and you can bring in your ideas, and very safe environment to learn a lot about product management. And the other thing is, it's not just about the technical skills. I believe so much in leadership skills. I believe that to grow, you need to be self-aware, you need to have empathy. So all that is incorporated in the immersion training program. And I'll share the link shortly.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
I'm going to stop sharing because I don't need to share anymore. Yay. So Wendy, I think we have accomplished living within the time box that you've identified. So
yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. I think that this is like such great content. I'm really looking forward to kind of delving in and utilizing this for my own personal goals, because it's hard to do with a small time box and just trying to figure things out. But I thought that was amazing. Thank you so much. I also wanted to share that we have a sign up sheet. So in order for us to all connect and to be able to, follow each other and to share information, there's a sign up sheet that I'm hoping that I just put it into the chat at 7:13. If somebody could open it up and just let me know if you're able to get in there. It was a Google Docs, so I just want to make sure that that might be possible for you guys to get in.
Yes.
It also gives an opportunity. Can you get in?
Yes, I can.
Oh, great. This is a great opportunity for us to share with each other, if we're aware of, networking. Are there any job opportunities out there that we'd like to share with each other? Are we one of the few that are still looking for positions that want to share, maybe our information about a position that we're looking for, et cetera? And we'd love to have some feedback as far as what type of meetups are you looking for in the future? How did you find us? So if you wouldn't mind adding some information into that template, we can go ahead and I'll meet in LinkedIn as well. Let's see. We do have a little bit of time. I would love to cover some Q&A here if anyone has some questions to ask, in the bigger picture. This is a great way for us to get involved in things like that. But what else, would we like to inquire with Dr. Dave about, Temi, about this in other ways,
Oh, mine's not really a question, more of a comment. First of all, SMART goals, absolute favorite. Love them. It gets you thinking, it makes you memorize stuff, and really gets you focused on what you want to do. And I actually have what I call a vision board. So every time I wake up in the morning, it's smack dab right in my face, it's on the wall, and it's all right there for me. So I don't know if that would help out those that prefer paper and pen and instead of MIRO, but SMART goals are one of my favorites. So I just wanted to say thank you. I thoroughly enjoyed this.
yeah, and we did provide a download. So if you wanted to print out, the actual visioning journey map, you could print it out and put it on your wall if you wanted to as well. So thank you.
Yeah, that was great. We also had a link in here. I'm not sure if anyone has any questions around Mile High Agile that's coming up. It's going to be one day this year in Denver. It's at, let's see if I can open it up and share. See, it's further up along the top.
I just went ahead and reposted the link. It's actually May 15th.
Okay, great. I'm glad that you reposted it. Thank you. We've got the vision journey mapping PDF available. The MIRO is also in there. Also, if you guys are interested, I'm not sure if if this group is, it's Agile Boulder. We also have Agile Denver North. They will be, they're requesting if there's any interest in anyone here that might be interested in speaking. They're looking for speakers, I believe, for 2024 still. They're filling a couple of other spots. So if that's anything that you would be interested in the sign-up sheet, there is a Slack channel for Agile Denver, so you could inquire there. Feel free to reach out to myself or anyone, and I can get you in touch with that group also for speaking. And then any other?
And just to let everyone know, the MIRO board and all of that information there, it's, you know, we tend to just leave it up. So you know, you could always pop in at any point in time and play with it. So just to let you know, it's not something that's going to go away. You could always just go there.
That's great.
The link. Yeah.
We're gonna be posting this recording as well. That'll be on the YouTube channel for Agile Denver. So this will be something that we can go back to if you'd like to see some of the slide presentation that was provided earlier and kind of walk through it yourself as well during that time. And the next Agile Boulder Meetup's going to be, it's always the fourth Wednesday of each month. We'll have Matthias Gran join us. He's going to be talking to us about empowered with data. Change narratives born from Agile data. So that'll be exciting. That'll be next month, I believe on the 24th of March. So look forward to that as well.
I just have one more thing. Dr. Dave, would you mind putting the QR code back up when it comes to your books? I'm not sure if everybody saw that it was on there, so they can take their phone just in case they want to connect with your website and see some more of the books that you have.
Yeah.
That would be great. Thank you.
That would be great. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Next week, I don't know why I'm sharing this, but next week I'll be at if anyone lives in Tucson, I see Jose lives up in Phoenix. Next weekend I'll be over at the Tucson Festival of Books, and I got selected to be one of their indie authors because I am an indie author. So I'll be out there in a booth presenting and doing some podcasting and all the fun stuff. So
sorry, what date is that?
It's March 9th and March 10th. So it's not this weekend, but the following weekend. I'll be over at the Tucson Festival of Books. And there's several thousand people who come from, you know, from around the country and the world who just hang out there. And
okay,
you know,
it's going to be my wife's birthday, so there'll be a couple thousand people celebrating her birthday too.
That's more important. Okay.
Thank you for the tip.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, that was amazing. Really appreciate it. Don't want to keep anybody longer if there's anything that that we'd like to go over further, but really appreciate this amazing opportunity to really be able to provide us understanding about how to create our own journey map.
No, thank you. Thank you for having us. And Temi, thank you for partnering, because I've been pulling her into this stuff with me. So I thank you so much for being open to partnering with me.
My pleasure. Always happy to add value.